Welcome to the Loaded Cannon. Burnley nil, Arsenal 2. Same old story. But before we get into that, my solidarity and sympathy with all the Palestinian people that have been killed during what we call a ceasefire. Israel's brutality still goes on, and no one does anything about it. So all we can do is continue to raise our voice, and that's what I'll always do. Now, Burnley nil, Arsenal 2. And same old story. Corner FC. And there's no shying away from it. There's absolutely no shying away from it. That is just what we do. But it's one thing sort of complaining about it, and I get a lot of opposition fans are going to complain about it, and they're going to give us a lot of stick. And I would do the same. If I saw a team that I didn't like running away with the league, 7 points clear right now. Obviously, rivals have got a game in hand, so it could be 4. But if I saw a team just being so annoyingly consistent in such an annoying way, it would annoy me as well. But that's what we do. And I just ask myself, why can't teams stop it? You know who we're going to hit. We get a corner, Declan Rice is going to take it, Gabriel's going to get something on it, Victor Gyökeres went and finished it. And you can almost script that. You know it's going to happen. So why can't teams stop us? Clearly, it's not exactly going to be regarded in the same way as prime Barcelona, but it's very, very effective. And in a season where you've got Bournemouth and Sunderland doing so well, it does tell you that, that conversation that people used to have about who's the best player outside of the top 4 teams. That is not a conversation people have anymore because there are so many brilliant players. Look at Newcastle, Bruno, Walter Mada, Joe Linton having a renaissance in the middle. You look at Bournemouth, you've got Semenyo. You look at so many, like you look at Palace, Mateta, Munoz, brilliant players. Just in every single team, Nottingham Forest, Morgan Gibbs-White, it's just all over the league. There are unbelievably good players that could just be snapped up by a top team, but there's that conveyor belt that just keeps on going and going. And that's just the top of my head. Name some of your favourite players that don't play for a top 4 or a top 6 team in the league who you rate really, really highly, because there's just an abundance of them. And what that means now is that every team is really competitive. Every team has got really, really good players in there, internationals, top quality players that can trouble any team. And you see that in the way the results unfold in the Premier League. But Arsenal are just that team that stays consistent. And our way of doing that is really, really advancing our set pieces. And it used to be that you would just play better football than other teams. Now look at Man City. They are a brilliant team, but other teams have caught up. They have narrowed that gap. And Arsenal have found a way. We've got a knack of using set pieces to our advantage. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't love it. I really don't love it. We are, having been there in the Arsene Wenger, Thierry Henry, Patrick Vieira, Robert Perez era, that invincible era with Dennis Bergkamp, etc. I know the level of and I've said this before, almost like an arrogance that Arsenal fans used to have, because it doesn't matter who you spoke to, you knew that not only were you winning, but you were winning in style. You played better football than rival teams, and you had this swagger about you that was just like, you can't match us. We're just incredible. And now we can't have that swagger. We haven't won anything yet, but the way we win, it's not something that is going to be admired by other teams. But the reason I don't mind it, and what I tell myself repeatedly this season, is that we are a club that has been starved of success. The last time we won the league was 2004. So we are not in a position to be picky about how we win, okay? And this is what used to make me laugh about Chelsea and Tottenham, teams that previously did nothing, and then they started complaining about style of play. And I just thought, shut up. You can't complain about style of play. You're a nothing club. And when you're winning trophies, just shut up and accept the trophies. Once you get into a rhythm of winning trophies, then you can start complaining about style of play. Then you start to try and say, okay, we're now winning trophies regularly. Let's try and win them in style. But Arsenal are that club now. It's been way too long since our last trophy, and it's been half my life without winning a league. So I am just constantly reminding myself this season, it doesn't matter how that league title is delivered, as long as it's delivered. So I'm just praying. I don't care how defensively sound and however boring that is, and how many goals you score from corners and how boring that is. I don't care how often that happens. We just need to win a league. And Mikel Arteta understands the assignment, and hopefully he goes and does that. If we're going to win, if we go and win a league this season, go and win another trophy next season, then I'll start saying, okay, now let's try and start playing some proper football. But look at what he's doing. Look at what Arteta's doing. That is our 9th consecutive win in all competitions. We have not conceded a goal in any competition since the 28th of September. It's been over a month. We haven't even conceded a goal. It's an absolute joke. It's our 5th victory in a row in the league. It's our 8th victory in the Premier League out of 10 games. And if we continue this level of defensive solidity, we are going to concede 11 goals in the league. That is a joke. 11, and I know obviously one bad game and that goes out the window, but it's a joke what we're doing right now. And then you look in the Champions League as well. It's not just limited to the Premier League. Champions League, we have not conceded a goal. We've got Slavia Prague on Tuesday. Who's going to bet against Arsenal, keeping a clean sheet in that game? That'll be 4 games played, 0 goals conceded in the Champions League. Yes, Inter might match us, but it shows the consistency, because we were the 2 teams in the Champions League last year that were just defensively amazing. Obviously, Inter up to the final because PSG just ran riot. And now look, let's focus on the game today. Declan Rice, oh my God. You and I will remember Declan Rice, his most memorable game in an Arsenal shirt was that unbelievable evening that we will never forget in the Champions League against Real Madrid, who had us just dancing. We were just what an incredible evening that was. But that was the most special Declan Rice performance in an Arsenal shirt. But what he did today, again, it was special, but not as eye-catching. It wasn't on the biggest stage. It's Burnley away, not Real Madrid at home. He didn't score 2 stunning free kicks. The curves on those, oh my God. But he didn't score 2 stunning free kicks. He scored a header, and it's not as glamorous, but he was unbelievable today. Absolutely brilliant. Never stops. Just a brilliant, brilliant footballer. And he totally deserved his goal. And I hope he got man of the match. I haven't actually checked who got man of the match, but it should have been Declan Rice, and I hope it was. And Gyökeres as well. I'm really happy he's getting these goals, because the last couple of goals he scored in the Champions League as well, they were typical striker goals, not ones that are going to stand out in a highlights reel. And this one today, it headed from 2 yards out. But this is what we were talking about with Victor Gyökeres, and with a proper number 9. Scoring the chances that you wouldn't score without having a proper number 9. And if it wasn't for him, then this game could have looked totally different, because Burnley are a stubborn team to break down. We broke them down in a very typical way from a corner, 2-yard header, but the player has got to be there. So well done to him, and Gabriel doing what he does as usual, getting his head onto it or getting something onto a corner. So look, you can hate it all you want. I don't love it. We're not inspiring anyone with this football, but if it delivers, that's all that matters. Up the Arsenal, Set Piece FC. See you next time.